bad. Good.
Nope.
I hope y'all enjoyed that little skit thing I did at the beginning. Y'all ever played with one of these? Like, these are cool. Well, yeah, the lighting's messing it up now. Very dusty. Hold on. It's very dusty. I haven't touched this in like, I don't know how long. So yeah, that whole intro was to show the theme of today's video. We are going to be reacting to a short horror animation. And this animation is made by GRD Animated Horror Stories. I emailed them because like it's a whole team, so you know that I already know this is going to be fire. Like I never like watched it myself, but I've watched others react to it, but now it's my turn. If it was cool if I reacted to his thing. He said yes. I'm gonna leave his link and stuff in the description. Go check him out. I'm gonna leave the link to the original video because I don't know if I'm gonna be pausing a lot.
In 2018, right after my husband and I got married, my parents, my husband, and
Okay,
I
so I'm
drove to
guessing this is the
Indianapolis
wife
to meet
talking.
my 2 great aunts and 2 great uncles through marriage. We had a really nice dinner at my aunt and uncle's house. I drank 2 glasses of wine and my husband wasn't happy. We went back to the hotel and my husband and I had a fight about me drinking. I said I was going outside to have a cigarette, but I actually went to the hotel bar. I drank 2 double shots of vodka very quickly, and then the bar was closing. I wanted to keep drinking, so the bartender told me that there was a TGI Fridays that was about a literal 5-minute walk away. I had a cigarette then, walked there, and continued drinking. I went outside to smoke, and then my memory gets extremely fuzzy. I remember falling in the parking lot. I also remember that there was a group of people when I got there outside, but now I was alone. I don't remember what happened next. When I left the hotel, it was about 10
She's
p.m.
outside, dressed like
Suddenly, a
that,
man was helping me
unconscious.
into his
Yeah.
car. He wasn't talking much.
Oh, jeez.
He had his arm around my waist and was pushing me into his back seat. I didn't realize the danger that I was in. I was in a different state. I had no idea where I was, and I was almost blackout drunk. Suddenly I heard screaming, and it was my mom.
Oh.
She ran over and said I was her daughter and to get away from me. He said something about, how does he know that she's not lying? I was starting to pass out when suddenly a man, it turned out to be an Uber driver and my husband was in the car, practically carried me back to his car.
Okay.
This made the guy livid who wanted proof my mom was actually my mom. She said she was going to call 911, and according to my mom, he bolted so fast his back door was
left the
still
door open.
I was taken to the hospital and discharged the next day. My husband told me he went to my room and said he was scared because I was missing. They called an Uber and tracked my phone, which they found on the ground in the parking lot, and it had 2% battery left. I definitely think the man who took me had bad intentions, and I don't know if he dropped my phone or if I did. I'm so lucky my husband told my mom when he did, or else I could be dead. What kind of person takes a super drunk young woman at almost midnight? It's also odd that he
There's some
refused to let my
twisted
mom
people in the
take me
world.
at first. It was only after threatening to call the police that he actually got scared and fled.
Alright, hold on. Before we get into story 2, if her husband held a grudge and like, you know what, I'm tired of her, I'll talk to her tomorrow or something, cause like she really just ruined my night. What if that was the case? And he ain't go to check on her? Story 2. Alright.
So, I had this
Yeah,
part-time
something about
job when I
pizza.
was in high school, working as a pizza delivery driver for a large pizza chain. I saw some pretty wild stuff on the job, but only one thing that actually seriously creeped me out. I'm making this routine delivery to some innocuous-looking house, but when the guy answers the door, he just sort of grabs the pizza, thrusts a fistful of ones in my face, then slams the door behind him. At first,
Alright. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Have your pizza. But next time, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Y'all ever watch Amazing World of Gumball when Richard had that had that pizza job and he like cut the pizza? He cut like one slice out and then he would put the pizza back together and then deliver it. That's exactly what I would. No, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna do that. As long as I get the money, as long as he don't snatch it, close the door, then no problems. No problems.
I'm just like, rude. But
Yeah.
then when I count the money, I find that not only has this guy not given me enough for his 20-inch meat lovers,
Oh. Mmm. Make that 2 slices.
but he's not even bothered to tip me. I'd been burned once or twice before when it came to my count, and the difference ended up coming out of my wages, so I was not about to let that nonsense happen a third time. I ended up banging on the guy's door for like a solid 5 minutes before he
Hey,
answered.
sir, open the
Like,
door,
I could see
please.
him moving around behind the frosted glass panel, but totally ignoring my knocking.
What is
In
he
the
even
end,
doing? Just eat the
I lose
pizza.
my temper and say
Well, no,
something
don't
like,
do that.
"Hey man, don't try and finesse me out of money. I don't want to have to call the cops, but I will." Boom. Those were the magic words. He comes right up to the front door and opens it up.
Okay, now he looks
Not all
scared.
the way, maybe a third of the way open. This guy is saying sorry a whole lot. Like almost too much. He's all pale, he's sweating. His hands are shaking as he passes me out a 20, just laying the sorry the whole time. I'm just thinking, what's this guy's problem? But then I catch a glimpse of something in the hallway behind the guy, and suddenly I've got a good idea what the guy's deal was. There's a dark red stain on the wooden floor, maybe the size of a manhole cover, and next to it are what look like all kinds of different cleaning products. I take one quick look at that, then at the guy, and he just slams the door in my face. I'm back in my
Alright.
car and speeding back to the pizza place faster than you can say F that. As soon as I get there, I call the cops. As it turned out, I had legit interrupted this guy cleaning up a murder. And from what I heard, the guy was having an affair with a high school girl that was like 30 years his junior.
Oh my.
She's over at his place while his wife is out of town, orders pizza at some point. Then before it even arrives, the guy kills her because she's threatening to ruin his marriage or something. He had no clue that she'd ordered the pie.
Hold on. Your wife leaves. Then you call up some other girl. How do you call someone over to your house by your will when you're married and then they threaten to ruin your life when you already ruined your marriage? Because like she's gonna find out. If you're doing this more than once, then she's gonna find out. Wife leaves, he brings a girl. She doesn't approve. Karma's a bum, but yeah, she still got. So
Panics when I show up at the door, and that's how he got
oh,
caught.
she ordered the pizza.
Crazy story, right? But for me, the craziest part isn't so much the whole murderous infidelity thing. It's that before she was murdered, this girl unwittingly kicked off a chain of events that would catch her own killer. I had to go to court a bunch of times too, since I was
Dang, so
basically the case's
she
star
planned
witness.
that.
And it was so freaky seeing that guy looking at me when I talked to the prosecutor. He literally killed a girl with his own hands. And there he was, giving me death stares. Like I said, I've seen some wild stuff working pizza delivery, but only one thing that gave me nightmares. That guy's eyes.
Alright, yeah, I think there's
I worked as a
3
flight
in this
attendant
one.
for years, and when I decided to take an extended sabbatical from college, there were a handful of let's not meet situations I encountered, but one in particular still makes my skin crawl more than any. I was born and raised in Texas, but had to move to New York when I was 21. So when I found out at the beginning of a week-long trip that I'd have a couple of overnights in Austin, my brother lived just north of the city, and we planned to hang out and go to dinner the night I arrived when he got off of work. And the following day, we were going to meet up with our dad, who lived about an hour away. So I get to the hotel downtown, the crew and I check in, and then we each head off to our rooms. Short elevator ride, and I get to mine, where not even 5 minutes later there's a loud, hard knock on the door. It was only around 1 or 2 p.m., and I hadn't called either my dad or brother to let them know I was in town yet, so they wouldn't know what room. I assumed it was maybe one of my crewmates, so I headed to the door. Before even making
Look
it
through
to the
the
door,
peephole.
however, a loud male voice on the other side boomed. "The front desk sent me about the bathroom problem you called in." Before trying
Look
to
through the
open the door,
peephole.
"Unlock the door and open, miss. I need in now." I froze in my tracks. I hadn't even been in the bathroom yet, let alone called anything to the front desk. I'm a petite chick, and while I take nothing from anyone despite my size, I still err on the side of caution. Slowly inching toward the door
Thank
to
you,
look out the
but not
peephole,
for too long.
all I could tell was that the man on the other side was at least 6 foot tall and easily double my weight. No way was I going to unlock the door. I responded to the guy, telling him he must have had the wrong room. He continued pounding on the door while constantly turning the handle,
I wouldn't
telling
have
me
said
no.
anything.
He
If he
needed
breaks
in and was
in,
getting in the
he
room
doesn't.
one way or
Well,
another.
he probably already knows.
I panicked, but thankfully had the sense to grab the phone and call the front desk. The concierge confirmed that they had neither sent anyone up to my room, nor had they received a call about the bathroom. The entire time, this guy was still determined to get in
Yeah,
my
it
room,
doesn't look like he works
pounding
there.
and yelling. Luckily for me, the front desk had dispatched security to my floor. When the security officers step off the elevator a few seconds later, I can hear them in the hall approach and ask the guy who he was, what he was doing, and telling him he needed to leave the hotel. He immediately gets hostile and aggressive towards them, and the front desk clerk I'm still on the phone with tells me police have been called and are on their way. In the meantime, I'm trapped in my room, scared out of my mind. Long story short, the cops show up pretty quickly and manage to arrest the guy for trespassing and criminal menacing or something. I later found out that the guy was also wanted in connection to a string of break-ins and violent acts against people in Austin. He had seen and stalked me from the minute I entered the hotel lobby. Apparently, I was exactly his type of victim. Nothing else happened after that, but it still rattled the crap out of me for the rest of my stay in that hotel.
Oh, there's
Many
4.
years ago, when I was young and fit, I was out exercising before dawn.
Oh yeah, there's
Our
5, I
local
think.
cemetery was high on a hill, and I would walk up the hill, then jog all around the concrete and gravel roads that wound in and around the graves. I had done this many prior mornings, and I was not afraid of being in the graveyard pre-daylight. I had family and friends buried there. It was isolated, and I felt safe. One of the individuals interred there was a little girl named Kay. Kay was only 12 and
Dang.
starting junior high when an impatient idiot behind the wheel of a car killed her. On my frequent runs past Kay's well-kept grave, I often greeted her, wished her well, expressed my sorrow regarding her short, sweet life. On this particular morning of which I write, I jogged past Kay's grave and called out my greeting. In my head, she spoke urgently to me. "It's not safe up here this morning." I jogged on, a bit startled. Of course I glanced about, but all seemed normal. A few minutes later, Kay spoke again in my mind. "There's a man up here."
She's a ghost, ain't?
This time I stopped, Suddenly, the dark
talked to me with
hilltops seemed fraught
his
with danger.
telepathic
My blood ran cold,
waves.
and the hair on the back of my neck stood up were no longer cliches. Still, I saw nothing. No man, no movement. But by now, every nerve in my body was screaming for me to get out of there. I turned and ran. It was no longer a casual morning jog, it was a sprint for my life. I ran past Kay's grave and back down the steep hill, caring not that my quadriceps complained. And as I fled, I listened for any pursuers, but I heard none. But that did not lessen the overwhelming sense of peril that kept me running hard even after I exited the steep part of my route. The rest of that day and even the remainder of the week, I listened for news of an escaped convict, a murderous madman, or anything that would explain Kay's urgent warning. But there was none. I had no doubt then, nor do I many years later, that I was in peril that morning. From whom I do not know, but 15 years have passed, and I can still recall the crystal clarity those 2 sentences from a poor child put much too early in her grave. It's not safe up here this morning. There's a man up here. I just want to say, thank you, sweet Kay.
Oh, that was it. This is probably the first part of a series that they're probably making. I'm not sure. That probably is what they're doing. They're probably like you want to watch the first ones, or maybe this is a compilation. And then when you keep watching, you'll remember from from what happened before, which will help you now and help you get up to speed. Alright, y'all, so I'm gonna end it right here. Shouts out to GRD Animations. Go check them out, because I want to watch more of this. If y'all are feeling this, let me know. And I like the narrator. Like, he like really sets the mood, like what the pizza thing, like he tossed the singles at me. But I was like, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This ain't enough. Sir, I'm gonna need you to open this door because I need you to pay the sir, is that blood on the... Once again, go check out GRD Animations. I hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure you share, subscribe, and bye-bye.